Serious, what are good jobs for those who don't want too much social interaction? Asterisk attention. Serious. Tag notice asterisk asterisk. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted. https://www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/wiki/index #wiki_rule_6- in any comment, parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. /message/compose/question2=r/askreddit if you have any questions or concerns. Asterisk. It may not pay as well as most of these jobs listed, but being an overnight baker is something I always recommend to my shy friends. You work alone, no manager breathing down your neck, they just call to check if you're okay, and if you need anything, you can listen to music on a speaker, and the smell of the bakery as your shift goes on is really wonderful. Oh, and no traffic on the way home as well. Traffic going to work depends on what time you want to start as well, which is another plus. You can come to work whenever you'd like as long as you complete your bake before the store opens. I like going in earlier simply because I like not being rushed just in case I make any mistakes. I love my job and genuinely look forward to each shift every day. Surprising my family with a loaf of bread every once in a while is always great too. Edit. Thought maybe I should specify where I'm baking it to clear up any confusion, and it's literally just Panera Bread. Nothing super fancy. Just a plain old Panera Bread cafe. Nighttime security dude at a place very unlikely to ever be robbed. Welder. Pays well, you're rarely out of a job, and you spend your day inside your protective armor of darkness and privacy. Anyone who approaches to talk about meaningless shit can go blind and develop skin cancer. But really, you must be very serious about PPE, not only from the light but also hearing and breathing, otherwise the one with cancer might be you. Warehouse logistics is, from what I've heard, about the most antisocial and solitary occupation anyone can do with minimal qualifications. A lot of trade jobs. For example, I know a lot of electricians who will spend hours wiring a panel or just working on something, rarely deal with customers and occasionally talk to coworkers. I clean hotel rooms. I just clean while listening to music, audiobooks, and YouTube essays for 6 hours. I don't have to talk to anyone. It's great. Never going back to customer service jobs. If you just look annoyed all the time, any job can have minimal social interaction. Audiobook proofreader. Headphones on and staring at screens all day. It's awesome. Remote bookkeeping, low-level accounting work like accounts payable and accounts receivable. I absolutely hate working with people. So I worked on a farm for a number of years, so I only seen the boss maybe 5 minutes a day. Driving a truck is good. I'm on my own all day. Writer-editor. I'm significantly hearing handicapped and I really hate social interaction during jobs. It took far too long for me to land in my niche, but it has been fantastic since I started working from home 13.5 years ago and writing almost 5 years now. Before that and still now I work in sports video statistics, which is also 100% WFH, so it really is the perfect situation for me. Letter carrier. Even if people try to stop you to talk, you can point to all of the letters and say, snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night, and move on. I'm an ETL specialist, extract transform load. I take databases in one format and rework it into a different format. We interact with customers, but 80% of the time I'm working on my own, and it's remote. You need general IT knowledge, and scripting stuff like SQL or Python is helpful. Some people on our team make tools, others just use them. ETL is a job term you can search for. Freelance writer here. All my work interactions are done through online messaging. Occasionally I'll have a Zoom team meeting with a long-term client, but otherwise, it's just logging into my project dashboards, writing, posting, getting paid, lather, rinse, repeat. I sit in an office by myself and edit legal journals and documents and then send them back. The only interaction I have with anyone is, "Here's your thing back," in an email. It's pretty friggin' great. Truck driver. Especially over-the-road driver in the US, I might talk to 3 people per day. Shipping clerk, receiving clerk, cashier at the truck stop. Some days, I can go all day without talking to another person. A friend of mine is a, roughly translated, server guard. He sits at a desk all night and watches series until some tech decides to fuck up. He leaves, fixes the issue and goes right back to Netflix or some PC games. His job is just to be there in case something happens. Lighthouse keeper. I work at a warehouse, and I've gone months without having a full conversation. If qualified, operating some types of heavy machinery can be nice. Container forklifts, cranes, dump trucks, 18-wheelers, etc. all require minimal social interaction, and most of your day is sitting in a cabin. I'm a forklift operator, container forklift and normal ones, and it's usually pretty chill. When we get lots of trucks coming in, I can just do my own thing for a few hours and nobody bothers me. Container forklift is even more chill because less people try to bother the 100+ ton vehicle, but it can be stressful because you can fuck up quite badly. Certification is quite easy though. Delivery driver or working night shifts are also good picks. I am a stay awake for an independent living house for the developmentally delayed. Depending on if your region actually pays its people, in NY I make 19+ HR at a time. When back home it would have been $8.50 max. It is absolutely worth it. It very much is a profession that attracts either the extremely passionate or the horribly cruel, so you need to have a solid day shift to make that first and last hour of shift realistic, but it's rewarding, mostly calm, low social. I literally went through a delayed post-cancer treatment. Sickness lasted about 2 weeks and no staff knew, but one of the ladies I watched that night would slip Jolly Ranchers under the bathroom door for me, her comfort snack when not feeling well. So clearly I was noticeably very ill. No staff noticed BC. No one was around long enough. Depending on the site. Security offices, aka firewatch. Crematorium operator, just the cremation, no funeral directing. Medical coder biller, work from home. Coding. Virtually every software engineer I have met has no business being around other humans. Third shift warehouse factory security. Bonus solitude if the company has multiple warehouses and you have to drive from one to another each night. I worked the third shift at a large Central Florida theme park. It was nice, on my own most of the night. Most of the time there were no guests to bother me, and I saw my boss maybe one time a night if that. Editing, proofreading. I work from home, have the occasional Teams meeting, send emails back and forth, but the majority of my work is done when everyone else is offline. Mortician is a good middle ground. You can still deal with people, but most are incapable of interacting with you. But on a serious note, I hear it can be a very rewarding job. From what I gathered of a few videos I saw on YouTube where a mortician answered Twitter questions, I heard from someone of the same profession that if you want to work an introverted job in the medical field, being a dosimetrist is not a bad option. I work from home in supply chain and I barely have to talk to people at all. Mostly emails and Teams. Medical technologist. Work in a lab. Body fluids and limited human contact. Data entry might be a good one. Want a job in the fast-paced, exciting world of radio without the fast pace and excitement? Then traffic is for you. In radio, traffic are the folks who schedule the commercials. It's just you in your cubicle, filling out spreadsheet after spreadsheet. If you don't like manual labor, accounting bookkeeping is very non-social. 99% of my work interactions are by email or Slack. And nobody really bugs you in the office if you keep a spreadsheet full of numbers open on your screen. Radiologist. For me, I would say a grocery store worker who works in the back and sometimes stocks shelves. That is my job. ATM, and don't do it in a small store. You want to work somewhere that's a decent size so you're not one of 3 people who are restocking. And when you're working in the back, at least for me, I don't really have to interact with anyone. That's just my say in things. When I was a custodian working through afternoon night, I could pretty much just listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and music all through my shift, and I rarely had to interact with another person. Working nights was also great because most businesses were not busy during the day. I could go to appointments or go shopping without running into huge crowds of people. Janitor, you have literally no social interaction with anyone. I actually work at a sign manufacturing shop, and it's really chill. I sit up in my loft all day playing with a laser cutter, UV printer, and rotary engraver. There isn't much interaction, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Debt collector. Everyone hangs up on you. You'll never have to talk to anyone. Friend of mine is a package handler, giggle at UPS. It's loud enough in there that pretty much everyone has headphones and listening to music, audiobooks, podcasts, etc. So you're around other people but don't have to interact much. Some security guard postings are great for zero social interaction. Get you an overnight shift guarding a closed business complex, and you may go nights without ever talking to anyone. Trucker can be a good one if you don't mind long stretches on the road and being utterly fucked by employers until you have the experience to get into one of the good ones. Delivery driver for any of the big carriers. You might have to interact with a few people when you drop off packages, but mostly it's set the package on the porch, ring the doorbell, and get back in your truck to hit the next stop. Grave digger, mail person. Spend limited time in depot in your own workstation. Then the rest of the day yourself. Landscaper. I work at a cemetery. Very little interaction. I still think that it is software engineering. I have autism and ADHD, and not that much social interaction wears me out. The roles that I had didn't have me doing too much customer support. However, it does seem like the jobs are getting more social. Patent examiners have by far the least social interaction of any job. My total interaction with my supervisor last year was maybe 2 hours. No interaction with other coworkers is required. Of course, this is after you've been doing the job for a while. There is obviously more required interaction while being trained. The electrician, you have music in your ears all day long. It's amazing. Crane operator, mortician, dishwasher. It sucks sometimes having to wash dishes for so long, but I don't have to talk to any customers, only my boss and coworkers. And during a rush, everyone is focused on their ticket, so no one will be talking to you unless they need a certain dish on the fly. I was a baker for 4 years on night shift and a janitor on night shift for 12 in a food factory. It really calm but hard on the body. After all this time, you don't get much sleep during the day even after 8 hours. I'm 37 and now on day shift, and it's so much better for my health. Cleaning. I clean residentials 90% of the time people are not home, and commercials when they are closed. I am paid $30 HR for houses and $37 HR for commercials in Australia. Someone who doesn't want too much social interaction might like working from home or jobs at places like plant nurseries, farms and orchards, aquarium shops and pet stores. Pest control. Night shift security guard. Perhaps I'm a business analyst for the UK government. Everything is tech-based. It's so chill. The past year I'd say I've had face-to-face meetings with stakeholders 5-8 times. Usually they pay for my travel, food, and hotel, so I would do 2-3 meetings over a couple days. So not every month or so. Usually 3 meetings every 4 months ish. Overall everything is on Microsoft Teams. Being a business analyst is super simple BTW. You just need to know a couple of things and you're set. Welding. I used to be an airplane fueler and I had a lot of alone time there, and during the downtime I'd usually hide in the stairwell and watch YouTube. But if I was feeling social, I had the option to sit in the break room. Big wheel driver. My dad used to travel across states and get fat money. He would just chill in his truck driving. Only time he talked to people was to tell the business people he was there for deliveries. And if you have a family and don't want to go across state lines for long trips, you can find in-state positions. My dad switched to in-state and the only difference is that it's multiple stops instead of one long drive. He still makes good money now, but he told me not as much. Be warned though, it is a lot of manual labor unloading and loading the stuff. Also, somehow my dad ran over his cell phone in his company's truck, but he can't explain how either. Night shift security guard. You'll still have interaction with the occasional person, like another security guard or the janitor, but most of the time is to yourself. Train driver. Mine isn't as good as others, but in towing, I live in Texas. May be different elsewhere. You can specialize in incident management and most of your time is in a truck. You will occasionally have to deal with people, but it worked for me and I don't like talking to random people. Plus, for me at least, the potential of helping someone in a bad situation helps to tone down my antisocial moods. Of course, there are many places that take advantage and shit on the vehicle owners, but working on a city or county contract severely reduces that. I'd say about 20% of my time was talking to people, and well over half of that 20% was talking to police officers who usually just chill with the other responders or stay in their cruisers doing reports and blocking lanes for you. For anyone who may even be considering this, it is not a hard job at all. Same way in, same way out. Rollovers are really easy to handle as well. The last time I had a job with little to no social interaction apart from texting or whatever was for an industrial place, working overnights in the warehouse just moving materials back and forth. Would maybe have someone call every few hours needing something. About it, working in IT can be less sociable. I used to complete tasks in the back end of machines and then email the users to say I fixed their issue. They never knew I was working on it. Also do a bit of development and you are generally left alone to finish your project and then just report back. Baker. I go to work at 3:30 a.m. and don't have to speak to anyone for hours at a time sometimes. Lots of podcasts. Morgue janitor. Drafting and design. My last job was almost all CAD work. Sometimes I wouldn't talk to a single person at work all week. Data entry, filing, depends where you're at in your career, and if you want to avoid it in person, or altogether. Entry level, I would definitely recommend any position that stocks shelves. Overnight, or late night would be the most ideal. Also, warehouses like Amazon have people around, but allow you to wear your headphones and pick sort with very minimal human interaction. Truck driving is also a great option. Night janitor. I go to work, clean some offices and small stores, and head home without even seeing another person. Much less traffic too at 4 a.m. Supermarket night shelves. Product systems. You and a small team, each in his own department. No particular skills are needed and little if any interaction. Forklift operator. Most places pay halfway decently, and if anyone walks up you'd usually honk at them and make a "go away" motion with your hand. Unless it's the boss. I actually plant trees for a living. It's very peaceful and very little social interactions, 80% of the time, and located in bush areas. The plant trees are usually all set out ready. We just grab what we wanna plant that day and fill out our book with a pot tally based on how much we plant. I only ever have to report to my site's manager at start and finish of shift, unless I have a question, which happens to be a very close friend, so it's very suited to my unsocial habits. Stock trading. Night shift. Especially janitorial, because if you know what you're doing 9 times out of 10 after training you get left the fuck alone. Also, for me personally, I only have to partially deal with customers for 2 hours a night, 1011 p.m. and 6:07 a.m. I'm lucky to have really awesome coworkers, so it's even better, but it would be tolerable with bad ones. Cleaner janitor. Depends on where, of course. Thanks to COVID, being a pizza delivery driver involves less social interaction than ever. Most deliveries are just walking up to a door, setting the food down, knocking, and walking away. At most, your interaction on a delivery will be both of you saying, "How's it going?" and making some vague statement about doing well. If you want some social interaction but not much, this is a good option. That said, you may occasionally have to take customers' orders in store if deliveries are slow, so you may have occasional times where you do more social interactions, but usually you'll just be doing dishes, sweeping, manning the ovens, or doing some other miscellaneous task. Pathology courier. I drive around and collect samples from medical clinics. Very quick interactions with pathology nurses. Spend the day alone listening to music and podcasts. I've also never met my boss. Truck driver. Anything involving plant care, engineering. Most of us are working alone or in very small teams. If you really want to be solo, data center technician. Driving a dump truck, like hauling dirt in construction. I thought I'd be a software developer and work with computers all day long. Turns out those pesky users and coworkers want to talk to you a lot. So not that. Data entry. Your contact will be pretty much limited to reporting to your supervisor and getting your data sets. I specifically worked in accounts payable processing. Sometimes I'd have to call a vendor to see why they misapplied a check or something, but that was accounting and industry specific. Night audit at a low occupancy hotel can be good too. I've gone 7 out of 8 hours without talking to someone. Those shifts, lower pay, but I deliver food. All you have to say is, "Enjoy your meal, have a nice evening." Of course there will always be difficult customers, but other than that, not much talking necessary. Software development is full of antisocial people. Library science. I would say any kind of programming if you're just an actual developer. Depending where you work, hopefully a large business that doesn't require you to wear many hats, you can get assigned tasks, maybe have a meeting once in a blue moon, and otherwise all communication is asynchronous, Slack, Teams, or email. I've worked as a full-stack web dev for going on 10 years, and my first few jobs I was able to, for the most part, just do my work and not really interact with many people on a daily basis. With the pandemic, every good place to work for does remote first, which also really helps being at home versus going into an office. Day trader. I had a buddy who quit his night shift job at a gas station because even that amount of social interaction gave him anxiety. Somehow trading stocks at home turned out to be something he could handle, and he did well at it. Yusuo Naito.